Microsoft Gaming came out and talked to a publication yesterday and said something that really got the internet buzzing on in every corner of the stratosphere. Now you got people in the gaming community that are looking at what Phil said, and of course the Microsoft apologists and the fanboys of Xbox, they're saying this is no big deal and the ponies are just acting crazy. Oh, they're in the stables. And then of course you got PlayStation fanboys that are like kicking themselves, cracking up, belly rubbing, rolling on the ground about this. Like, yeah, we told you that Game Pass was a dud. But where does the truth lay? Is the truth with either side, or is it somewhere in the middle? I got a lot to say about this. I got some thoughts about this, and I really got something particular to say about the future or the potential future of Xbox that might surprise some people. But nonetheless, let's get into it. What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, MM2K Gaming. Back again with another episode of The Dosage. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest in the video gaming space. And man, oh man, do we have one for you today. But before we get into it, hit that like button, that subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications. Please make sure they're set to all, or you're going to miss content. So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure those notifications are set to all. All right. So let's first take a look at what was actually said, right? What the big deal is all about. And then we'll circle back and we'll get into whether or not it's worth all the attention, or if there is actually a bright or promising future for Xbox in the means of Game Pass, to where they can like finally start seeing the success that they're hoping to see. Because we got to be honest here, I know a lot of people were like, well, Phil said that Xbox is successful with Game Pass and Game Pass is this and that. Look, you got to read the tea leaves. Compensation package was removed from the CEO's attention after it failed to reach benchmarks. They didn't say, oh, okay, we don't need to tie this to your compensation anymore, Satya. After it was making benchmarks, once it, was missing benchmarks, they removed it from his earnings package and his earnings discrepancies, right? Then they changed the overall value offering. Now, instead of, getting Game Pass to be very, very much a bargain and day and date across the board on the console tiers, they created these new tiers, and you got to pay $20 a month to get day and date. So they've lessened the value, or I'll say bargain. They've lessened the bargain on console and made it an ultra bargain on PC. It's kind of like they want you to toss your console away and go to PC and enjoy Game Pass, right? So we got to keep it a buck here. I think the truth is not owned by one fan side of the fanboy war or another, but we got to at least be honest about that part. Game Pass has not seen the results that the executive suite was actually hoping for, hence why the changes, some of the starts changes, and then now you're talking the way that you're talking, Phil, along with you not too long ago I think it was Bloomberg, where he said, it's only now making up 15% of our capacity as far as earnings are concerned. That's not the big talk we were expecting to hear based off everything that they were saying. So let's show you what was said that's gotten all this buzz first and foremost before we get too deep into that. This is courtesy of Hunter on Twitter. He quotes the Phil Spencer interview and says, Phil Spencer says Xbox Game Pass is not for everyone. Quote, I look at Game Pass as a healthy option for certain people. If you play 1 or 2 games a year, it probably isn't the right business model for you. You should just buy those 2 games. Now, people may see that and say, well, what is the big deal? How is that any different from what he's been saying? Well, in so many words, Microsoft, and to be fair to Microsoft or and Xbox and Phil Spencer, they've never said that Game Pass, the goal of Game Pass was to be 80 to 90% of their revenue. But Game Pass was supposed to be part of a cyclical event that introduced gamers to games in a more accommodating way where they would normally be standoffish to engaging with more games, right? It would introduce gamers to games, get them all into the gaming fervor and get them all excited about the community and stuff like that, expose them to more games. And as games would leave Game Pass or whatever, or as people decided, I really like that game and I want to keep that in my catalog, I want to keep it in my library, you would go ahead and buy a license and go buy the license out of Game Pass and, you know, get it at a reduced price. So it was supposed to introduce people to more people to more games, right? And then give you access to keep that game, and then lastly save money and then rinse and repeat, right? And clearly that is not happening at the rate that Xbox was expecting outside of the pandemic. Just to show you that that was the expectation, here goes something that they had on Xbox Wire. This was on Xbox Wire on June 10th, 2021, when you started seeing Game Pass, seeing some of the growth because of the aftermath of the pandemic that made them very optimistic and thinking that this would be a staple within gaming. You can see here, just off this chart right here, that the cyclical event that I was talking about, it you know, Game Pass is like, look how Game Pass is at the center of that. You are the center of gaming, game anytime, anywhere, play on your PC, customize your experience, play anywhere in the cloud with gaming on mobile, the most powerful, fastest console ever built. Wow. Okay. Yeah, tell that to Digital Foundry. Next gen performance at an affordable price. And then right here, like smack dab in the center, was Game Pass. And Game Pass Ultimate. But there was even more, right? This is an article where Phil Spencer says there was belief that PlayStation was about to release something dang date as well to mimic Game Pass in the console tiers. And here's what Phil had to say about that. And speaking of, since Xbox head Phil Spencer recently spoke with IGN about the rumors of a PlayStation Game Pass alternative, and he believed that its impending arrival is an absolute certainty. He cites things like backwards compatibility and the desire to play any game at any time as part of the appeal of services like Game Pass or the tentatively titled Spartacus. That was supposed to be the code name of the PlayStation tiers, which is now like the PlayStation Plus tiers, right? But there was the expectation that they would do day and date. And states that Sony's willingness to emulate Game Pass is a sign that such services are the wave of the future for the gaming industry, right? So again, may not be the but it was not, they didn't express it was the dominant way, but it was like an equally divided piece of the pie in their minds. And last but certainly not least, if you're not convinced that this is a change in strategy and approach, we go back to the beginning of this, towards the earlier years of this generation, June 10th to be exact, 2021. This is a fantastic GameIndustry.biz article by Christopher Dring. I believe that he was part of an Xbox conference where they were talking to different publications about the future of Xbox and what their plans were. It was centered around, or the way he framed it was, Xbox wants to release a game every 3 months, but there was so much more in this. And one of the things that Phil Spencer said is this as follows. During this conversation that they were having about the future of Xbox at that time, Xbox Phil Spencer says the following. Quote, across the Xbox ecosystem, we're now reaching hundreds of millions of people every month, and our total addressable market is going to grow while others are relatively static. As the Xbox ecosystem grows into both content and size, it becomes more valuable to both players and our partners. So right now, we are the only platform shipping games on console, PC, and cloud simultaneously. Others bring console games to PC years later, not only making people buy their hardware up front, but then charging them a second time to play on PC. This dude was talking crazy stuff at the beginning of the gen. Like, screw you, PlayStation. He said, but quote, and of course, all of our games are in the subscription service day one, full across platform included. So it again shows you the cyclical event that we showed you in that graph that they were expecting, where Game Pass was going to be an equal partner in that. Here's where it starts to really get interesting. There are really three, Phil Spencer continues to say, there are really three, I think, areas of key areas where we believe we have incredible. Hey, what's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K, and I'm here with your other host, Cold Blood Sensei. We're back again with another episode of NRO Podcast. This is NRO Podcast number 98. And man, oh man, oh man, do we have a great show for you. Sorry for the slight delay. I was still sending notifications out. Hope everybody is doing well. That over a little bit so I can see how many people are actually here. Okay, we got 18 people here and we only got 4 likes. Okay, Big Money, what's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. King Deuce, what's up? Good to see you. Okay, let's do this. Okay. We're not going to spend forever in a day today because my brother Cold Blood got work tomorrow. So we're going to try to nail this out in 2 hours. I actually got some timers and stuff I'm gonna have up here just to make sure that we're cognizant of his time. But I gotta say something super quick. It's only gonna be 5 minutes, but before we get into that, I gotta wrap to my brother because my schedule's been busy. I haven't had a chance to really talk to him this week. Cold Blood, what's going on, my friend? How you been this week, man?
Good. Besides the night shift, but
that sucks. Yeah. You been doing any gaming or no? The schedule changes. It's causing too much disruption.
I played a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, okay, cool. I got to get into that. Adam Fall is making me want to hop into that now. So, yeah, I played a little bit of Adam Fall at the beginning of the week. I can't even remember when I did it, and I haven't been able to game all this week. Just things are crazy. But yeah, man. All right. Let's get into this super quick because we got a lot of ground to cover, but not a lot of time to do it. I want to say this, that if you guys are looking at the goal, we do have a member. We do have a super chat goal. If we can get 15 till or more, what Cold Blood and I plan to do is for all of you that are fans of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and y'all, and if you guys are like us, you know what I'm saying, where you enjoy playing games on the Pro, and if you want to see us do another co-op stream like how we did not too long ago with Last Remnant 2, we will co-op on the PlayStation 5 Pro. We will co-op Lords of the Fallen, right? And we'll do it here specifically on YouTube. I'll explain why that's important in a second. If we don't make that goal by the end of this show, we're going to live stream it elsewhere. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry. Like we're at a paradox now to where we want to create great content. And we want to build on the community, and we want to, give you guys great stuff. But we're just asking for the simplest things in return. Like right now, we should not have less than 10 likes. I think it's absurd with the amount of content that we put out there and how consistently we try to do something for, the best that we can. My brother's active in the Discord and trying to do things with people in the Discord. You know what I'm saying? We're not asking for a whole bunch of members or anything like that monetarily. We're just asking for something like likes. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's prompted our move to Twitch for live content, and we'll continue to further that if we just can't get those small things. I see a lot of y'all elsewhere. I love you, Bizzle Chopper content creator. Y'all sending them y'all whole damn paycheck, and they don't even produce the content that we do. We're not even asking for money. Like, give us our damn likes. That's all I ask for. And I'm no longer going to sugarcoat it here on this platform because we don't need people. We provide something. We feel like we have something to say, and we're hopeful that you find it at least entertaining, or if you're in agreement with the movement. Otherwise, whatever, you do what you want with the content, but we're not going to contort ourselves and bend over backwards for people that at the very least can't respect the content and just hit the damn like button. So there we go. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now I can move on. What's up, people? It's your boy. Let's hit the social plane. We got King Deuce in the house. He says, what's up? Big Money says, for real. We got High on Life 10, 12 with the orange raised brow. And we got the homie Juice in the chat as well. Let's talk about it, man. We got a bunch of topics to talk about. Let's jump right into it because we had a lot of fanboys this week, Cold Blood, upset talking about, oh man, you guys are making a big deal out of nothing. It's nothing, right? What is that nothing that they're claiming? They're claiming that Phil Spencer coming out and saying that Game Pass is not for everybody. They're claiming that's nothing, man. It's no big deal. It's not a pivot. It's not a change in strategy whatsoever. Let's look at the story here. I think I have a link either to the story or to the tweet, one of the tweets where this is revealed. Oh no, that's something else. Yeah, I do. I want to keep that up there just in case we need to go over it. All right, here we go. Full web. Is that it? All right, there we go. So this is, oh no, that's not it. That's something else. That's when we kick in Nintendo's ribs. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's show you guys this though. Okay, this is coming from Hunter, courtesy of Twitch or Twitter, excuse me. Phil Spencer says Xbox Game Pass is not for everybody. I look at Game Pass, quote, as a healthy option for certain people. If you play 1 or 2 games a year, it probably isn't the right business model for you. You should just buy those 2 games. So here's the skinny on it. Phil is basically saying that he's saying the quiet part out loud finally, if you are an Xbox apologist. Look, Game Pass failed in its global reach efforts. The video that you heard at the beginning of this laid that out. The video pretty much told you guys and broke down how the old strategy was phrased, how Xbox, and this was highlighted wonderfully by GameIndustry.biz, how Xbox, they came into this generation talking that shit. They were ready for war. We can offer this, we can offer that. And they were taking shots at PlayStation. PlayStation's making you buy their console in order to interact with their games. We do day and date to a sub-service. And no, they never said Game Pass was going to be the only way or severely the main way that they succeed, but they looked at Game Pass as a I say in the video, a cyclical event, meaning you are somebody that wants to play games. You look at your options in playing games and then you come across Game Pass. When you come across Game Pass, you realize, oh, I can get a whole bunch of games for a low monthly fee. Game Pass helps expose you to games. You try the different games, and the games that you heavily like, you buy so you can keep those games, rinse and repeat. So Game Pass was supposed to create this epiphany for people that wanted to play more games or just wanted exposure to games. And it was going to be like, oh my God, look at all these games in here and I can try out and see what I like. And then when I find out something that I really, really like, I'll keep playing it. Right? They thought that business model was going to be attractive to the average gamer. Come to find out, per Matt Piscatella and company, he said, no. He told us during a kind of funny interview, I think it was January this year, 48% of gamers, when you combine the 2 groups that he talked about, 48% of gamers buy 0 to 2 games a year. 48%. And that's the largest sector of the average gamer. 48% buy 0 to 2 games, meaning they're playing Fortnite and other free-to-play games, or they just buy Madden and Call of Duty, FIFA, and whatever else, FIFA and 2K. They just buy their annual 2 games a year. That's it. That's 48% of gamers. 5 to 15% of gamers buy 6 to 12 games or more a year. So the gamers that buy 6 or 12 or even more games a year, they only represent at most 15%. And it's no accident that Xbox themselves, Cold Blood, only have 15% of their revenue coming from the traditional Game Pass. I believe Phil announced that at like a Bloomberg thing last year, where it's like, nah, it's never going to be a big money earner, particularly on console. It's like at 15% of our revenue. Whoop diddly do. So a lot of us, Cold Blood, myself, a lot of you that are listening, you've been knew that. You've been announced that. It was Xbox and its apologist wing that were like, no, absolutely not. No. Game Pass is always going to be it's a godsend, and that's how gamers look at it. It's a godsend, and there's no way that it won't become a staple in gaming. I remember Cold Blood. Shout out to David Jaffe. Got no ill will to David Jaffe, but I told Dave, I said, bro, I think you're losing your acumen when it comes to the current gamer. We know you know your shit about the former gamer, but the current gamer, bro, I just don't know. Why did I say that to David Jaffe? I said that to him because he's like, yeah, man, Xbox is going to have to, or not Xbox, but PlayStation is going to have to resemble what Xbox is doing when it comes to day and date subscriptions. And I'm like, no, because the average gamer don't care about that. Why? Because the average gamer plays 0 to 2 games a year. Don't care about that shit. Go ahead, brother.
I would say Jeffy is right if PlayStation made the same fucking dog shit Xbox is doing. the cheap ass gaming they do, yes, that deserves to be in Game Pass.
Yeah.
But bruh, not the first party titles of Sony. Hell no.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah, when you have value, like, look, a buffet. If I'm just throwing some shit together, I come up with some General Tso's, right? And my General Tso's has ketchup in it. Like me and my business partner, I take him to his appointments in some of my breaks from work. And so we go and we might have some lunch afterwards. And so we went to this like Chinese buffet place. And so I'm scooping up the rice because he's on crutches. I'm scooping up the rice for him. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if we want this rice. Rice look like someone spitting this shit. I'm not trying to be gross, but it was, it was long strings or something. Here these motherfuckers put cheese in the fried rice. I'm like, huh? Why is your cheese in fried rice? So when you're making some slop just for people just to eat because they just want to throw something in their mouths, yeah, of course you're going to create a buffet of that, right? And that's what represents Game Pass. And of course you're going to put that shit in their day and date. But when you feel like you got quality content that stands on its own, you're going to tell subscribers to go fly kind to a thunderstorm. And I think, Cold Blood, to your point, that's the situation that Xbox is in. I think they feel like with Indiana Jones, Avowed, South of Midnight. Now you may say, I don't know why, but and stuff like that, that now they got games that can stand on their own sales wise. So that's why I think it's no coincidence that you're hearing Phil talk like this now. Now time will tell. We will see. We will see if when those games hit PlayStation, if they'll get a second life there. Because I don't know about Indiana Jones. I don't know how well I don't hear nothing else about Avowed. That shit just came out 5 minutes ago. So when those games hit PlayStation, I don't know if they'll get a second life or what, but we'll see.
Well, Moss, we're gonna soon find out with Forza.
I think Forza is gonna be a good test.
I have a slight suspicion we're gonna hear about it for a week and then never again.
Never again. Never no more.
Just like with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Bitch came out already. Nobody gives a fuck about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can I say something?
Yes, sir.
About what Phil just said?
Uh-huh.
When I read that he said it's not for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, then what the fuck was all these years where you were saying we need 100 million subscribers and shit?
Yes. Yes.
That's literally more than your fucking player base on Xbox.
Exactly. Yes.
So now that it failed miserably, now you're saying it's not for everybody? I don't know, bro. Like your fucking message changes daily.
Yes. Didn't I say that the 2021 Phil is an actual different person than the 2022 Phil? They're actually different bodies and shit, and different people.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying?
they just clone his ass and give him another personality. AI, bro.
There's a show called
Co-pilot Phil, bro.
No, you say what you say? They train co-pilot on cloning Phil. God damn! Oh man! Oh man! Hey yo, there's a show that I watch. I love it. It's called The Venture Brothers. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's crazy, but in it there's these sons. It's a cartoon, and the sons always get cloned because they always get killed for doing stupid shit. You know, there's like 30,000 versions of them. That's that kind. If anybody out there listening that's watched the Venture Brothers, you know, Phil is one of the Venture Brothers and shit. That motherfucker's been cloned over and over again with a different hypnosis, put under a different hypnosis each time he comes out. Now Game Pass isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. But I was telling Mag, bro. That's what I was telling him last week. Shout out to Mag that was here last week. Had a hell of a show last week. A lot of you may have not seen it. Definitely check it out. And if you are missing content here, if you're like, oh, I didn't know you guys went live last week, what you got to do is you got to switch the notification bell to all. If you don't switch the notification bell to all, you're going to miss out on content. And because YouTube is just goofy, I already talked about it. I'm not going to get into that anymore. And that's kind of why we got to split our content here, particularly our live content, because YouTube's being goofy. But yeah, switch the notification bell to all and go check for that podcast if you didn't see it. Yeah, we had an interview with Mag. Mag was keeping it real again. And that's why I was breaking down to Mag, like, I get that everybody loves Phil Spencer, but I think the problem with Phil Spencer's Xbox is they talk about shit in flight. It's a business term. Like when you go to the writing board and you guys are writing out your ideas for something, it's an industry term, like things are in flight, meaning, okay, we talked about this and we want to see this through and see it come to market, but ain't no guarantee. And typically when things are in flight, when you're trying to build it, it's the building phase. When things are in the building phase and before they've hit certain milestones, when they're just in the building phase, you don't talk about it. You don't fucking talk about it. Like when give you a prime example. PlayStation, a lot of us in the cloud gaming community, we used to laugh at PlayStation. PlayStation's cloud gaming is trash. It's horrible. PS Plus, is trash or whatever, right?
Mouse, look who's laughing now.
Yeah, exactly. That's yep.
Like PlayStation, bro. To me, PlayStation is almost better than GeForce Now. It's very close.
Yeah,
like GeForce Now, only the frames are just better on GeForce Now, but everything else, bro, the stability, the image quality, PlayStation got it.
Yep. This is what I'm saying. But Cold Blood had in between that time.
Yeah. Wait. Did you see that Xbox no longer gives you the ability to stream your games on a phone?
Are you serious?
Yes, I cannot do it anymore. And I got Ultimate still for a while.
So you can what?
The Game Pass app is gone. then they made it to the Xbox app.
Yeah, they merged. I think they merged it in the Xbox app.
And then I tried it on the Xbox app, and there's no option for it anymore.
Are you serious?
Go and check. Go and check on your phone.
Hold on.
Because I think people ain't talking enough about it.
Hey, bro, I don't have that shit on my phone. There's nothing Xbox on my phone. I don't. The only thing I have is Game Pass on PC. That's it. I don't fill my shit up with that junk. Hold on. Let me go see. Let me go to Cloud Thurs.
Yeah, the mobile.
Oh, that's crazy.
Symbol is gone on every single game. You can still look at them.
Well, look, that's nuts. Holy cow, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I cannot play nothing in the cloud anymore on the phone. Only on PC or on Xbox.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna check that out.
They've been championing that they want to buy games through the Xbox app, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got the wish, but now they don't have the fucking cloud games anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna look that up, see if they just didn't put it in a stupid spot or whatever. You know what? A good person to check with is Dr. Spaceman. Because if anybody knows,
I think he posted something in Discord about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check with Dr. Spaceman. Or Dr. Spaceman, if you're listening, let us know if we just missed it, or if they did that shit on the slide, bro. That's crazy. But yeah, to me it doesn't matter because it's horrible on the phones.
No, remember they sold you this Xbox license wrap-on for the phone.
Yep.
That motherfucker might be useless now.
Bro,
I mean that useless, but for the purpose you bought it for,
exactly. It is, yeah. Wow. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that one. But yeah, that's Xbox's problem. Well, let me ask you this, Cold Blood. Do you think Game Pass is getting a massive overhaul because of this? Because what Phil is the Phil clone of 2025? Is he indicating to you that the Game Pass is going to get a massive overhaul?
I mean, what are they going to overhaul at this point? That the Xbox Cloud shit that was in the beta is now gone on mobile phone?
Or no more day and date? Or day and date's
I don't know. No, I mean, they still got Doom and everything day and date, right?
Yeah, but
I don't think day and date changing, but the price increase is going to come for them, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like $20 a month, that's not going to be enough for them.
When you consider that GameFly, like I haven't had GameFly in a couple years now, because I've switched more to digital. But to get 4 games with GameFly, it like 3 or 4 years ago, it was like $42, right? To get games with GameFly. So to think that you're only getting 4 games and you're paying $42 for them, and GameFly has been bleeding cash like fucking crazy. Just, off of subscription prices like that, 4 games, you get $42 a month, So you get, like, come on, you guys can't tell me that Game Pass isn't bleeding cash, and they're using words like it's sustainable and it's profitable because they're trying to add it to an overall metric of, well, we feel like it's profitable just off of Game Pass getting subscribers because once we turn the price up, whatever metric they're using to come up with their terminology, you guys got to be very careful. It's not profitable in the sense, in the X and O senses of, are you making more money with Game Pass specifically than you're paying for the shit to get into Game Pass? That's what we're thinking. That's not how they use the terminology at Xbox. So very interesting. Game Pass budget for licensing games is getting cut. Less new games. Yeah, I'm thinking social joins that it's either going to be Game Pass, you're going to start seeing a big knock to day and date. Like you might see, and I talked about this in the video, games like Avowed, Indiana Jones, South of Midnight, yeah, those are going to be day and date. But like a Call of Duty or a Gears E-Day or anything that's going to be $70 or $80, whatever the price of games are going to, premium price of games are going to be, those games might not be day and date, or they remain day and date, but that price goes up. And I threw a price out there like $29.99. Like their sweet spot might be $29.99 for, you know what I mean? That's just my guess. But Sony uses Microsoft Cloud Service to stream to, which is funny because it's so bad. I don't know about that. The first 48 Gaming. I know Dr. Space, we got to talk to Dr. Spaceman. I thought that too, but what happened was they had went into an exploratory committee to do that. And as a matter of fact, I think, what's the dude's name? Tom Henderson. I'll reach out to Tom Henderson. I think Tom Henderson had discovered that exploratory committee went nowhere. Like, remember when Satya Nadella and who was it, Kaz Hirai or somebody at the time, they were shaking hands and that was the plan. That never panned out from what I understand. From what I understand, their new server structure, their new pod structure is based off of AWS. So that deal never went through with Microsoft in Azure Cloud. Nope. So first 48 Gaming, I had thought that too. But then when they came out with their new PlayStation 5 version of cloud with the 4K 60 capabilities, then the details of it came out. I would look it up. My recommendation is go to Inside Gaming, Tom Henderson's publication, and look it up. It's not, from what I understand, it's not running off Azure. Once it got updated, it was it never hit Azure. That was the plan. But what ended up happening is now it's running off AWS. That's what they did long term. All right. So yeah, I it's going to be interesting to see the structure of Game Pass. What is Game Pass's biggest problem to you? No, that's okay. First 48 Gaming, that's okay. Because I thought the same thing too, bro. It's okay.
The biggest problem is you pay $20 a month and get games that are fucking garbage most of the time. That's the damn.
I mean, I'm laughing, but it's the truth.
You get maybe one fucking gem in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which you could have just paid $60 for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, with Stalker 2. Like, you could have just bought the game, and the rest of the year you could just ignore fucking Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Or I might just do what you did because it was so fucked up at the beginning. And it's a game I want to play. Like, I love games like that with the searching and shit like that. That's why I'm stuck on Adamfall right now. Like I said, I want to get into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But it was so fucked up at launch that I might just do what you do and wait for it to hit PlayStation and just get it on the Pro. You know what I mean? Now people may say, well, why don't you just get it on PC? Like, here's the thing. This is nothing against anybody's rigs. I was having this conversation when I was streaming Adamfall the other day. This is nothing against anybody's rigs. Your rigs are capable. Your rigs aren't the problem. The problem is the level of dedication that a programmer is going to give into optimizing for your rig. Like the fact that fucking Assassin's Creed and Monster Hunter at launch has performance on par with the top 1% hardware, or is running better than the top 1% hardware, tells you where developers are laying their chips. It's kind of like the Xbox One X when, everybody came out and told us these specs, but games were minimally better on the Xbox One X than they was the PlayStation 4 Pro. And when you look at a game like 2018's God of War on the PlayStation 4 Slim, it looked better than anything on the Xbox One X up until Red Dead Redemption 2. It's all about where they feel their chips are best laid. And there is no denying the PlayStation 5 marketplace. It's the most powerful marketplace in gaming today. So now you see people not do the lazy shit they did at the Pro launch, or you're starting to see less of it rather. And, you know, people are like trying to go all out on the Pro while they're being sloppy on PC. So now I'm at a point to where, like, normally looking at a PC, even though I love my PlayStation 5 Pro, look, there's no reason why a PlayStation 5 Pro version of a game is fucking with a 4080 rig or whatever. Even with the AI, PSSR is not that advanced enough to fuck with DLSS 4 right now. The problem is optimization. And you're going to run into those problems when you have developers that are just like putting it out on PC. They're like, but now they're looking at the PlayStation 5 Pro and they're like, oh, we got to tweak this, we got to tweak that. So yeah, man, even though I could get it on PC and get it on Steam, I'm at a point now to where I'm like, fuck it, I might as well just wait till it comes to PlayStation 5 and it comes to the Pro, and I'll play it there. You know what I mean? But, you know, so then if I do that cold blood, then what's the point of Game Pass altogether? You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on one second. Something isn't right here. Why is okay, that was just beautiful. For some reason, our avatars and shit was hanging outside of the bar. Yeah. So, he said, I'm waiting for the Switch 2 pre-orders to start. Appeal 24-hour now. Social Joy says, for normies, it's just another subscription bill on top of Netflix Disney. For hardcore gamers, not enough time to game. Rather just buy 1 to 4 games a year and play. Yeah, like, I would get it if, like Cold Blood said, there were a bunch of things like, oh shit, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. I'm interested. No. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't provide that. Like, there's like 5 to 15% of gamers who would be interested in that. The other 85%, not so much, because they don't buy as much. Right? So why would I spend $20 a month for a service that doesn't necessarily have the games that I want in there? And even if it does have the games that I want in there, Microsoft is a business. They're in this to make money, especially after spending $75 billion on Activision Blizzard. They can't fuck around like they could before. That's why you're seeing all these rapid changes. You can't leave money on the table. You can't sit there and say, hold on, well, like with Starfield, for example. Now, regardless of what you think about Starfield had a lot of earning potential at launch. That's why it did so fucking well, despite it. Well, it did so well at launch. Let me be specific. Despite it launching day and date in the Game Pass. There's a reason for that. Now, systemically, I don't think it did great over time, but it was number 1 on NPD, even though it launched day and date in the Game Pass. That's based off the popularity. That's not saying so much, because if you're a game that you spend a lot of money on and you expect it to systemically be a big popular game, isn't that? So therefore, all that money you got at launch, you got to now reinvest it to make the game better. That's not saying a lot. That's kind of like Cyberpunk 2077, Cold Blood. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 sold 13 million, you know, within a month and a half. Doesn't matter. They were getting sued and shit, motherfuckers returning shit, and they had to reinvest all that money to make the game better. And it wasn't until they made the game better that now you can like sit there and say, okay, we can be comfortable about the profitability of this long term. So let's look at a game like Starfield under a very similar situation. Even though it still did good at launch, it could have probably brought in, I'm going to surmise, double, if not double and a half the money if that motherfucker launched on PlayStation as well, even though the user scores were mediocre. And furthermore, if that mofo did not launch in the Game Pass, like if you would have had to buy that game, it would have made 4 times as much money as it did. By far. Now, don't get me wrong, there would have been some people that just would have said, nah, this isn't for me. But the attention around that game, it would have made 4 times more money had it launched on PlayStation as well and didn't launch in the Game Pass. That's why I think there's like something's got to give, particularly when it comes to Game Pass. And that's why you see Phil. Phil doesn't talk like this by accident. Phil's comments are rehearsed. He's just all over the place, but he doesn't speak incorrectly. He says stupid shit, but it's stupid shit that he sat and vetted with legal and PR, and they're like, this is how you're supposed to talk. That's why Phil always begins a lot of his more difficult answers with, I look at it as, I see, when I look at Game Pass, I think that is a practice, transitional precursor statement to calm the speaker down. We do this in business all the time, to calm them down when they're getting a difficult question, and to calm down the listener, because apparently the question is like, yeah, we want answers, motherfucker. So it's like a preposition to kind of like disengage you a little bit and try to soften the blow of your question. That's why he begins a lot of his shit with, when I think about Game Pass, or when I talk about xCloud, or that's why, when I think about it, it's to disengage you. So all this shit is rehearsed and practiced, and he's not talking like this for no particular reason. They're pivoting from Game Pass being a staple of their business strategy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know exactly what their business strategy is going to be, because I don't think they know it. All they know is they're doing better selling games on PlayStation. And they have a dilemma. They get 30% off of microtransactions and game sales off their platform, but their platform is selling like shit. But they can't just forego that 30% that they're currently getting off of like Roblox, Apex. They can't let that go, because if they completely abandon the platform, they're not going to make that up in pure sales. So they have a dilemma. What are they going to do? I don't think they understand what they're going to do. That's why I feel like they're still pursuing hardware, because they want to pursue hardware because they want to have a place for the people that are playing Roblox or whatever on their consoles to go somewhere else and still give them that 30%, because they haven't found a way to replace that 30% yet. So, all right, we got 3 minutes before we get off of this topic. If Cold Blood wants to add something else while he's thinking about that, I'm gonna go to the chat. And chat, if you want to catch my attention while I'm sitting there babbling, good way to do that is via super chat, or if you become a member, sticks right out at me and I grab your comments first. The Game Pass problem is day and date. It cuts the budget of their games to make sense to put it on a streaming service. Juice, I think it's more nefarious than that. No, or less nefarious than that. I just think they're incompetent. And I think they know that. You got to go back to DICE 2018, I think it was, when Phil Spencer got on stage and said, Sony makes better games than us, and we aspire to make games as good as them. When Phil got on stage and fucking said, "You've never had a gaming CEO say something like that. Our competition is better than us." That was Phil's admission that, hey, we suck at this. We're fucking horrible. And because they realized how bad they were at it, you got to remember that that Xbox also did a sit down where they looked at The Last of Us and said we can't make anything like this. So they know that they make crap. That's the best they can do. And so the best way to distribute crap is you can't sell it a la carte. You got to put it in a buffet. I think that's simply it. Now that they feel like maybe some of the buffet dishes they could sell on their own, now they're starting to do that, and they're trying to Game Pass was a Band-Aid. They used Game Pass the wrong way. They use it as a Band-Aid. I think if they would have applied it right, applied it to that 5 and 15%, and always just focused on making great games, they would have been better. Instead of just bending the knee and saying, we're weak at this, and let's build our business strategy around our weakness. Let's not get better. You know what I mean? So, any final thoughts, Cold Blood, before we move on to your favorite topic of the week, PlayStation price hikes?
Why are we going there?
Because the people got to hear what you got to say about that.
I got nothing to say about that. It's fucking dumb. End of story.
All right, so then,
like,
go ahead,
bruh. Come on, like, you think a price hike in the middle of the generation is gonna be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, what the fuck? What do you expect is gonna be the reaction?
Well, hold on one second. Let me fix something real quick. How do I have that all the way up there?
And I can confirm now, I cannot stream a single fucking game on my phone on Game Pass. So yeah, that function is gone.
That's weird. Hey, Dr. Spaceman, if you're listening, or if you're listening to this VOD, and I'll send you something in the Discord as well. Give us the skinny on that. Like, let us know when that happened. Here's what I'll do. Let's do another 15 minutes on this topic with Xbox. Right? I think that's only fair. Let's do another 15 minutes on Xbox before we go to PlayStation. I got to fix this timer, and then we'll just take 15 minutes from the. Yeah, because like you said, there's not a lot to talk about in this regards. Yeah, let us know, brother. Let us know. He says, I need that UK PlayStation PS5.
Why?
Says Jonathan. Oh yeah, he said, hey, Jonathan, he said, hey, don't come in with your shit today.
No. Wait. Why UK specifically? That's what I want to know. Because the UK one is just as fucking expensive as every other one.
Hold on. Something weird is happening. Shatterstar, do me a favor, bro. Comment. Hold on. Comment in the put a comment in the chat again. Yeah, Shatterstar.
I was about to say, are you gonna destroy someone again?
No, because something weird is happening. He put.
Always when you say, "Do me a favor," some fucking bad is gonna come afterwards.
No, I ain't gonna destroy nobody. No, I've calmed down. I'm gonna get some rest. Yeah, I'm. You know, I admit I've been a little bit moody. I'm tired. The job has been driving me crazy, and everybody around me has been brain dead to the motherfucker, and I'm tired. And then YouTube is getting on my nerves too. But I'm calm now. I'm finally. I rest is on the horizon and shit. So I'm happy. Yeah. Put something in the chat. Unless did you delete your comment? But I don't see where you deleted it. Because he put this out here. And I remember Shatterstar was here last week and he said that he was blocked. I'm like, I don't remember blocking. It's reducing Xbox into an app and cloud streaming service. They believe it's the future. But Cold Blood went on there and he's like, bro, I can't find it. He can't find it. So that's weird. Shatterstar. Yeah, if you're listening, bro, just put something in there like, yo, I don't know why. I can't see you here and I didn't block you. Or do I have did I have some dickhead mod do that? I'll check and see. I don't know. Social Join says before the Activision deal, Xbox could subsidize Game Pass laws, but now, yeah, you're right. That's totally true. Sean says, except for the US version, he says, I want to pay maximum $1. Oh, fuck. Damn. Ice Cream Gaming, what's going on? Go ahead.
Bro, see what I have to deal with on a daily? With motherfuckers that are gladly getting it up their herb. You know what?
No Vaseline.
Daily. Exactly. No Vaseline. Whatsoever. Nah. Bro,
what is Sean saying there? Is he trying to...
Bro, he gladly wants to pay $80 for Mario Kart. He gladly wants to pay for 2 full-priced fucking Nintendo Switches.
Sean.
Bro, he probably also gladly gets this fucking 480p camera for the Switch.
Is it 480? Is it 480p, man? That shit look like 480i and shit. Ain't no fucking oh shit. He said, I want to pay $90 for Astrobot. So yeah, I see y'all and then hey, look, y'all, the Discord is being pegged in the chat. So definitely check out the Discord, y'all. Because these motherfuckers be going crazy in here. Y'all want to be, y'all need to be part of the Discord or you're going to miss content. It's as simple as that. Because we're pivoting. We're not relying on YouTube. We're not relying on any Twitch. We're not relying on Twitter, X, whatever you want, Blue Sky, Up Sky, whoever the fuck. We're not relying on the social media platforms anymore to get the word out about our content. Everything's going to flow through the Discord. Go ahead.
I want to do some private sessions on Discord, but hey, nobody wants to really participate besides.
And why are you guys scared of? There he goes, Shatterstar. I don't know why, Shatterstar, your comment isn't showing up. Okay, now there you go. I just want to make sure because I fuck with you. I don't want you to get on me like, oh, the Moss blocked me too. Okay, you're good, Shatterstar. Okay, I'm sorry about that, brother. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. Why are you guys afraid of Cold Blood? Why are y'all afraid of him? Like, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Cold Blood about this. We're gonna. Why is my timer not there? The fuck is going on here, man? Rundown. Why is the timer going? Okay. All right, we got the timer back up there. Sorry about that. So he said, where's your Discord link? I have it pinned, but I'll put it back in here. Social joins. Let me see here. It should be pinned. Did I not pin that motherfucker? I don't think I... Join the Discord. Hold on. Let me do something, man. I fucked up. My bad, y'all. Hold on. All right. Copy. Join the Discord. Y'all caught me, man. You caught me slipping. Okay, I fucked up. All right, so let me fix this super quick. Invite people. Copy. Join the Discord. Here's why you guys want to join the Discord. And this is the first time I'm bringing this up. And Sean, I'm glad you're here. Join Discord or no, what the fuck? Okay, I got it. What is going on here, man? Copy. Okay, and then now Thank you. There we go. All right. There it goes. Now I'm going to pin this in there. Sorry about that, y'all. I didn't put that. Now the Discord link is there. So what you guys are going to want to do is join the Discord, get in there with us. Cold Blood be having sessions, and then what we're going to try to do is we're going to work on ways to make it easy for Cold Blood to go live with those sessions. Somehow we're going to, as long as we can make it easy for him to do that, he'll do that. But until we go live with them, y'all could still like jump into our Discord channels and talk and shit like that and have, cut up, whatever. But why y'all afraid of Cold Blood? He don't bite. Okay, Ice Cream Gaming, thank you for joining us, sweetheart. We appreciate it. Another reason why you guys are going to want to join, I really haven't, this is the first time me saying this, is I made a reference to this in the town hall. We have, I have people that I originally was going to work with to start, like helping out in the Discord and help producing stuff, working on shit. But then I realized, why am I going to go to these motherfuckers and give them things like game codes or whatever, where I can bring it to the community? So what I told them that I told the people that I was going to work with that I'm putting it on pause right now. And I'm going to talk to you guys first. So if you guys are interested, because here's the skinny now, and I'm not going to front like these game codes, all of them right now are, like Last of Us 2 or whatever. But there are some cool shit like V Rising and some other game codes that I may not necessarily be interested in, that I pass up on all the time. Like I get emails for game codes all the time. And if you guys want them instead, we can work something out to where if you guys want to, mod the chat or mod on the Twitch channel, if you go over on Twitch, or if you want to just simply do a review. If you're like, hey man, I would love to do a review, we could work something out. So we could talk about all that. So if you're interested, join the Discord. We'll talk about it in the DMs. Sean, I was thinking about you too, because bruh, there's a shit ton of games. Shout out to Sean with the $5. He says, towards your Mario Kart. That shit like $120 in the UK. Kiss my ass, Cold Blood. See you on the new Switch 2. Oh, god damn. Sean, there's a shit ton of codes, bruh. That I was.
Wait. Did you forget the 2 zeros behind the 5?
Oh damn. Yeah.
That's what Mario Kart costs.
Facts. Because of people like you, Sean. Yeah. If you guys are interested, let me know, Sean. Yeah, Sean, there's a shit ton of codes, bro. I was thinking about you too. A shit ton of codes that you and Doriega and even Geek to Sneak. I know y'all would love these codes. I just be like, nope, decline. If you can, so we can talk about it if you guys are interested. He says, ever get Switch games codes? Cause I'll join in. Nah, yeah. I don't get them. They're mainly PC, PC first, PlayStation. Xbox kind of don't fuck with me. They kind of don't fuck with me now, where I used to get like, well, no. I got a whole bunch of Xbox codes one time through somebody else, but Xbox really don't fuck with me. So they're mainly, I want to say 60 to 70% of them are PC and PlayStation codes. And then the other 30% are like Xbox codes. And I don't have, but you know what? Maybe it's because I don't have Switch listed. So I'll take a look into that. Just DM me. I'll take a look into that. Because it could be, what is this? A tactical, like, I'm looking at codes right now. Black One Blood Brothers, a tactical single player FPS command squad of elite operators plan and execute your mission. Now, let me give you, let me pull this up on the board real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, because I just got, oh fuck, that's the wrong one. I just got a request for that. What's it called? Black Let's look at this. Fuck! Why did, oh damn, get that shit out of here. Black One Blood Brothers. Okay, let's look this up. Black One Blood Brothers. Here it goes right here. Oh no, I don't want anybody else's channel. Black One Blood Brothers trailer. Helio Studio. Okay, let's put this up here on the screen. So I'll get code requests here. I'll get code requests for games like this, right? I got it on the screen right now. Let's go. So I'll get requests for games like this. And I'll be like, no, thank you. But y'all might be into shit like this. So if you're like, oh man, I would love to have a code on a game like this, just let me know. But again, you know, we're offering codes and other perks to individuals that help with the platform. We're trying to build a vibrant Discord. So, you know, like I'll give you an instance. My brother King Thrash and Next Gen 720. They are excellent examples. King Thrash got his channel taken down over some bullshit. I remember years ago, Next Gen had his channel taken down over some bullshit. Them motherfuckers didn't skip a beat. Why? Because they have a faithful following through the Discord that goes wherever they go. They don't got to rely on, they're not sitting there doing what I'm doing, sweating and spending, you know, wasting fucking hours trying to, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get tags and thumbnails. They don't give a fuck about that shit. King Thrash put up the same thumbnail with the middle finger with the world under it. And he could do that because they have a vibrant community. We're trying to build something like that too. And we need help building it. So, you know, codes like that would help out, you know, help put something in your hand. Shout out to Juice and Sean. Hold on one second. We got, what? Okay, we got Sean. He's with the $5 towards Mario Kart. We got Juice with another $5. He says for Sean's trip to Japan so he can get the Switch 2. I like that. He says so Sean can get the oh, Sean, he burnt you, bro. He burnt you, bro. Juice with the burn. He wrecked you, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. He got you. He said $5 to Sean's trip so he can get the Switch 2 for the real price. Hey, yo. Oh, man, that's crazy. But yeah, what do you guys think about? Let us know in the chat. What do you think about Game Pass? Do you think that because of what Phil said, do you think that Game Pass maybe is going away at the dodo bird? What do y'all think? Ace Queen Gamer said, I'm a mod for King Thrash. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. If you want, if like DM me, I put my, if y'all look at that pin thingy, y'all, you know, just make sure y'all put in there. Cause you know, there'd be some weird bots in there trying to do some crazy shit. Just say, hey, I'm responding to you about the opportunity to mod for codes. You know what I mean? Because who we ultimately select, I got to give you access. We got to set it up a certain way. And I had some people that were going to do it, but they're gamers, but they're just people that I know personally. And I'm like, before I fucking give y'all this opportunity, y'all ain't even watching my shit. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? They could be watching now. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you. I ain't giving you these codes when you don't watch my shit. I'm gonna give it to the motherfuckers that you know, that sports platform. So yeah, I just had this epiphany yesterday. Like, what the fuck am I doing? So yeah, if you're interested, let me know. We'll talk about it, and we're gonna set up something to where these people that I'm partnering with, instead of me partnering with them as, hey, I'm MM2K and yeah, if you offer me some codes, I'll talk about your shit if I play it. It'll be MM2K Gaming News Network. We're getting codes, and you will be part of MM2K Gaming News Network. So that'll give you untethered access to just look at what codes are available and say, oh yeah, I want that one. I want that one. You know what I'm saying? So, but we can talk more about that. Phil Bosch, I have authorized. I hope everything gets well with you, Ice Queen Gaming. We're hoping for a speedy recovery. I can't get over Jesus' comment. He burned the shit out of Sean. Hey, Sean disappeared. Hey, where's Sean? This shit. Where was Sean? Shout out to the homie Phil Bosch in the chat. Okay, so what do you guys think, man? Let's. I'll take another 10 minutes or so, so we can talk about what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about this? Oh, we got Sean in the house. $5 more for juice so I can sign up for the Duolingo. Oh man, what the hell is that? Sean became a member for 12 months. And speaking on memberships as well, you guys have 3 ways to become members of our platform altogether. Now our platform is not tethered to a specific or our community isn't tethered to a specific platform. I mean, yeah, this podcast is the home of this podcast is YouTube. It just doesn't make any sense to put it anywhere else. So we'll always be live here on YouTube. All we ask for y'all to do is just hit that like button when you come in, please. We got 45 people watching. Please hit that like button. We got Ice Queen Gaming. She doesn't join at the foamed up level. What's up, Ice Queen Gaming? Thank you very much for the support. Now, as another thing too, as a reminder to everybody, if you guys join, or if you guys super chat, we get 15 till or more super chats. Cold Blood and I will do a co-op stream next week of what was that freaking game again? Immortal. We're just looking at that game.
What the fuck, man? Lots of
I know. It's just lost me and shit. Yeah, I'm getting old.
You should probably rename this channel to Grandpa Gaming. Bro.
Old diaper gaming and shit. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a co-stream next week of Lords of the Fallen.
RPG 88 says Split Fiction. That's what he wants us to play.
Sean with the $1 like. Shout out to Sean with the $1 super chat. Yeah, we'll do Lords of the Fallen. Just check out this 2.0, and we'll do it here on YouTube. So that'll be another live thing that we do here for you guys. Cold Blood, can you do me a huge favor? Can you see the chat?
Yes.
Okay, can you just read the chat? I just need like 3 minutes. I'll be right back.
God, why Bluey? Why? Fuck no, bro. Oh, shout out to Juice with another 5. This is for Sean's Passport Bro live stream because he hasn't to become a citizen in Japan to get the real price. True.
Sorry about that. It just got super hot in here. And
Bro,
go ahead.
you missed a super chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and another one.
Okay, we got Sean for the $1, and then Juice says, this is for Sean's passport, bro, live stream because he hasn't become a citizen in Japan to get the real prices. When you say that's his geisha, that's his geisha payment, get his geisha gear. Oh man, $5. Y'all can watch the Switch to Japan live stream on my OnlyFans. My name is HD Rumble Zanny. Come on, man. Hey, what are we doing? Hold on, man. It's getting out of control here.
Bro, they will never escape the allegations that.
Yeah,
that
you ain't beating them charges, bro. You was not. But what do y'all think, man? Before we move on, what do y'all think?
Or what?
About the Xbox Game Pass? Like me and Coldblood already gave our opinions. What do y'all think about?
I retract that the cloud gaming is going on mobile. It's just another fucking app now. They completely made it a new app for whatever reason.
Oh, okay. Well, we told you we get to the bottom of it. I mean, we had it. We just had a suspicion. That's all, and it was just something that we missed. No,
No, but for Game Pass, like, what is coming out next? That is so fucking amazing that you need a day one.
Well, Clear Obscure 33. I think that's going to be a good get.
Okay. I give you that, but then again, it's just $50.
Yeah,
anyway,
that is true.
Right?
That is true. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
It's not that damn expensive, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you. And now, see, you know what? See, I'm glad you said that because that made me realize something. Because you tell me if I'm wrong. How much is Stalker? Is Stalker 2 70 or was it 60? Stalker 2 was 60, right?
It was 60, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Even with all the bugs, there's no fucking way Indiana Jones is worth 70 and Stalker 2 is 60. You see what I'm saying? I think what Xbox was doing is that it was overpricing games like Indiana Jones and Avowed because they were trying to drive people to Game Pass and saying, well, look, you can buy it individually, but there's so much more value if you just get Game Pass. I think that was their final effort to use their games to drive people to Game Pass. And then they finally realized, hey, look, we can't charge $70 for these games because they're not worth it. Now, Clear Obscure is third party. I'm just saying. But South of Midnight, I think, was priced appropriately. And outside of their gears, like I don't know, Fable. I guess Fable will be 70, whatever. But with that being said, you're right, Coldblood. You can get PC Game Pass for what, $12 or less if you find a cheap code. And just play Clear Obscure there, or you just buy it. $50 isn't going to break the experience. $50 is going to look a lot more valuable, especially if these games go up to 80. You're going to really look at 50 and be like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. So, Juice says you all need to join this Discord. We go back at bruh. I be lurking because I be working, lurking, and I don't want to get distracted because I want to just finish up and get the hell out of there. But I be watching that goddamn Discord, Juice. Y'all be cracking me up. That Discord is wild, man. You guys are some sick puppies, man. You're hilarious. All right. Yeah, I agree. Indiana Jones. Sean said, I agree. Indiana Jones should be 80. Fuck out of here. Oh, man, it should be $8. Shit, take that zero off. See, Sean, you're adding zeros and taking zeros off in the wrong places. You should have added, like Cold Blood said, you should have added 2 more zeros to that super chat for Mario Kart. Yeah, Mario Kart's gonna be like $4.99 by launch and shit. And Nintendo keeps raising these prices, everything else. The Joy-Con's gonna be $350.
Hey, we can talk about that.
Yeah. Let's get to that. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Hold on, what the fuck? Let's talk about the Switch. The Switch 2, its impact, and all the shit that's going down with the Switch. Give me 1 second. This is new for me. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So, Switch. There's a couple things happening with Switch, right? First and foremost, we had the price or the pre-order drop that happened. Let's pull that up real quick. So pre-orders dropped for, oh no, that's the wrong, what the hell? Why is, oh no. Pre-orders dropped for the Switch 2 in the US. But before we get to that, I want to talk about this VRR situation, Cold Blood. Because VRR on the Switch 2, as far as the specs and references to the Switch 2, have been removed. This is after all the Nintendros were out there saying, oh, this is almost as good as the PlayStation 5. It's better than the Series S. MM, you're hating. It's giving you 4K 120. Yada, 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 right? Okay. Here goes something from Oliver McKenzie. Oliver says some weird stuff going on at Nintendo. Looks like they've changed their US website to no longer mention VRR support for TV play. Only HDR and 120 hertz support get a call out. And he shows you the verbiage before and after the update. And then he continues to say, well, if this change was made for a reason, presumably VRR support will not be available for launch. Perhaps they've run into some issue with the Realtek DisplayPort to HDMI converter in the dock. In any case, hopefully support can be added in the future. Important clarification. European sites appear to still have VRR as a supported display out feature, though it's possibly they're in the process of removing the text across all regions. Right now, Canadian, American, and Japanese sites don't mention it. Update. The text is gone from the European Nintendo's websites as well. Hard to think this is an error and coincidence. So we got that. We also got, again, the pre-orders have now been reestablished for Nintendo. But here's the kicker. They've been reestablished for Nintendo, but the prices of the price of the unit didn't go up, but the price of other things have gone up. So the Nintendo's Pro controller went up from $79.99 to $84.99. And then what else? That camera, everything's going up $5, right? Or how much? The dock set went up 20, didn't it? I think the dock set went from $99.99 to $120. And I think, did the SD card go up $10? So yeah, you're seeing, holy shit. I feel like I'm trying to get a new fucking Honda Accord. Shit. These prices. All retailers updated the app list Switch 2 for April 24th pre-orders. Just doesn't give the time they start, says the first 48 Gaming. It's removed for dock mode. It's still listed in handheld mode. People are about to pay $450, says Juice, for the Xbox.
Wait. Did I hear that right? The docked version ain't gonna have VR, but the handheld version is gonna have VR?
I do not understand that at all. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, because all of the way Oliver broke it down, yeah, that sounds like that might be the issue. That might be the end result.
What the fuck? Why?
What do you need
Why they
VRR for?
Why they making pieces of shit out? No, I mean you're gonna need it on a fucking Switch with Cyberpunk running variable FPS from 40 to fucking 10.
Yeah.
10 FPS, bro. Like, yeah, you're gonna need it. But why is that dock such a
Piece of shit.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Didn't they even put a fucking what do you call it? A fan in there
Yeah, they put
to
a
keep
fan.
that
Yeah.
super powerful Switch 2 cool?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why is it having all the technology that is now expected to have?
I don't know. Does somebody have an explanation for this? Sean? Help, Sean! Do you have an explanation for this, bro?
But some Nintendo probably gonna tell you, oh, we don't need nothing.
Yeah.
We got our 4K 60.
Yeah.
we don't need no VR, bro. Just like some PlayStation dudes been telling us, like, we don't need VR, we don't need VR. And when it came out, we have VRR. Like, come on, bro. Stop.
Here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. I argued in the past. Now, Cold Blooded, he ain't cutting y'all no fucking slack. But I've argued in the past, $450 for the handheld portion of this is reasonable when you look at other handhelds. But the problem is, to me, with the Switch is now they're stepping into the console territory. And the console aspects of this, which I feel like Nintendo is using to justify the prices and everything. Oh, we could do 4K 120 and VRR and AI upscaling. They're using that shit as it relates to the console portion as an equal additive to excuse the $80, $90 prices. On the handheld side, okay, sure. All right, comparable. On the console side, you fucking fail miserably. This is another, chink in a serious chink in the armor, a breach in the armor. And in my opinion, Cold Blood, you tell us what you think. Under these circumstances, this disqualifies. I'm sorry, and Sean, I know Sean's going to eat this up, but it go rabbit and shit and start punching his Yoshi onesie. But I'm sorry, this disqualifies Nintendo from being able to charge $80, $90 because the argument isn't, oh, well, it's a handheld. No, Nintendo sells this as a hybrid. They sell it on the docked capabilities just as much as they sell it on the non-docked capabilities. So you got to be performant in both areas. And you miserably fail on the console portion. You don't get to say, oh,
Bro,
people.
Brother, you know what they're gonna say. The dock is just optional. It's just optional. You don't need to use it. It's all about the handheld experience, the what they call it, the convenience of mobile gaming. They're gonna tell you all that bullshit again. It doesn't matter if there's something missing for the TV play.
Let me give you a prime example. Well, they could try that, but it's horseshit. Let me give you a prime example. The Xbox Series X, right? Is it true that you can get you an Xbox Series X and play a shit ton of games for like a very low price of Game Pass or whatever. Absolutely. That is part of what they sold you on the Series X about. What they also sold you on the Series X on is it was the world's most powerful console. And it wasn't just the world's most powerful Xbox, it was the world's most powerful console, meaning that for your AAA experiences, your AAA experiences were supposed to be unrivaled, right? And if you don't believe me, oh no, they never did that. They never said that. I give you Exhibit A right here. This is a graph when they were sitting there rolling out Xbox, then how the cyclical event of Game Pass at the center and you being able to play on your toaster and all that other bullshit, right? How that was going to transform gaming, and why David Jaffe, was yanking at his beard, trying to convince me on Twitter that fucking PlayStation has to follow Xbox. How did they describe their Series X or their console? The most powerful, fastest console ever built. So yeah, you get to say, well, you know what? When it comes to buying games a la carte and playing AAA games on your Series X, most people don't do that. They just use it as a glorified Game Pass machine. That may be true because you Xbox don't buy games. Mostly what you do is you fiddle with a game for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. That's why you guys talk about Quick Switch or whatever the fuck that bullshit is called so much. That's a great feature. It's the best thing that happened in console gaming, right? That's why y'all so amped up and creamy knuckled about that dumb shit. But it's not $500 simply because it's a overpowered Game Pass machine. It's $500 because, like it says right there, it's supposed to be the most powerful, fastest console ever built. So we don't get to kick Xbox's ribs in, and then it's avoidable for Nintendo. Yes, do most people indulge with Nintendo in the undocked mode for the handheld and the convenience? Yeah, sure. But they're justifying the price and how they're pushing the market to be more expensive based upon what it does in docked mode as well. That's a heavy part of the marketing as well. That's what's supposed to also justify the $450 price. You think I'm bullshit? Go listen to what Doug Bowser and all these Nintendo reps are saying when people are questioning them. There's a couple of interviews with Bloomberg that they're doing that I've listened to. Matty Plays talks about it, where they're pivoting heavy off of what it does in dock mode as well, the impressive numbers that it's doing in dock mode and how that justifies the price. So you guys don't get to have that argument. Just like Xbox doesn't get to have the argument, well, it's okay because the Series X is just, it doesn't matter if most of the current games perform better on the base PlayStation because of Game Pass, and most people are just playing Game Pass anyway. They're just worried about getting cheap games on Game Pass. Okay. But that's not what part of the marketing was. And if you have 100 people that buy a Series X, right, and 99 of them play it just for the Game Pass aspect and not the promises for the performance, that still doesn't excuse the one person that bought it for the power and they were and the power was misrepresented. Just by you not being transparent and honest to that one person, it still makes you a fraud. Because this is what you sold your device on. The same applies to Nintendo. Because they are out here flopping like fishes out of the water, trying to justify the prices and justifying it based off of what it does in the docked mode as well. So I don't know what to tell you guys. But y'all trying to sit there and live off of, most of the people use it undocked. That ain't holding water here. Not here. No, they're not claiming the Game Boy. They're not claiming to be the most powerful console. They're saying, look what we're doing with Nintendo games undocked and also in docked. Because now we're able to do this in docked with the VRR and the ray tracing and all this shit. And look at how more powerful it gets in dock mode. They are using that argument to justify the $450 price point. Look, and even today, in today's day and age, $450 isn't a premium price point for a console. Because what? Isn't the place, even in the US, the PlayStation Digital was $479, right? I think the PlayStation 5 Digital is $479. So $450 price point in 2025 doesn't mean that they're giving you the top of the line console, but they're using the capabilities in dock mode to justify not just the price in the unit, which I don't think is horrible, but the price in the games. And then these fucking peripherals. They're using that to justify all this auxiliary stuff around it, which still adds up and overprices the market. Because here's the knee-jerk reaction. You're charging $90 for a game? You're charging this for a control? You for that? Oh, hell yeah. Hey, look, man, call all the investors. We're raising the price on all of our shit. Rip them old tags off. You understand what I'm saying? To where, for instance, if Rockstar were to come out with a $90 GTA, you might have some other AAA people that would try to do, some that would try to justify it and do it. But you would have more pushback on the market for people saying, hold on. Look, that extra $10, $20 is because of the brand recognition and the fact that they're using the latest technology. And this is probably the biggest GTA, like they went balls to the wall here. And you're going to get shit in here that you can't get from any other game. Yeah, slow down a bit. There would be a little bit more discrepancy of who would try what. But the fact that Nintendo is doing this, that Nintendo is trying this. Everybody, oh, hell no. You got the motherfucking makers of Phantom Dust. What? Oh, we're going to charge $90 for a game. Let's make a remake. Get some of that original code. Put that motherfucker out there for $95. That's my problem with the Switch price. I'm not even upset with the unit. I'm not even upset with the unit. Okay. But to overcharge for all this other shit, including the price of games, and people are falling for, well, that's the price of select games. What Nintendo was telling you is that there's no longer any guardrails on what we price games. Because if they're going to price $90 for Mario Kart, what the fuck do you think they're going to price the next Zelda? The next Zelda could be 100, 120. That's what people need to be concerned about. So I see the chat chirping. Y'all got you percolating off of this one. So let's go here. Is it Xbox is irrelevant? Says, oh, I missed this comment from Trill. Your channel sucks. Hey, Trill, I saw your comment the other day. I think you're like 13 or some shit like that. But as long as your parents don't get upset and get mad at me, you're welcome. What else we got here? VRR helps with frame rates and battery life. The VRR stuff is challenging the PC handhelds. Not all of them have it. That's Sean. That's why I say, as far as being comparable to the PC market, I think the pricing of the unit is okay. I think it's okay. But here's the thing. If we're comparing you to the PC market doesn't try to drive up the price of games. You know who drives up the price of games? It's the console market. So here's what Nintendo's trying to do. It's trying to have its cake and eat it too. This is where it's pivoting off the hybrid theory. Okay, we have a more expensive Switch because we're now comparable to the PC handheld market, which I believe that part is true. But now they're trying to drive up the price of games. When you look at how comparable they are to the console market, which that's the business sector that drives up the price of games. There is no $80, $90 there. Not at all. Hold on one second. Yeah. So that's the problem. The problem is, to me, now Cold Blood will tell you otherwise. Cold Blood will tell you don't think he's fucking being worth 450. You don't think he's worth 50. But I'm saying in my case, I'm just saying I don't think that the unit price is the problem. To me, the problem, because you're staying in your lane then. As Sean is illustrating, you're staying in your lane and you're pricing accordingly to the handheld market. But where you're overreaching is now you're getting into console territory when you're trying to drive up the price of games. The consoles do that because the consoles are the first to employ new technology that enhances stuff that's in games that wasn't in games before. What new technology is Nintendo enhancing in Mario Kart? I'll wait. Maybe because Cold Blood's getting Mario Kart day one. Cold Blood, do you know what's the new technology?
Man, shut the fuck up.
Oh shit, I almost choked.
Hell no. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get me a Switch to OLED whenever that motherfucker comes out at $400.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
With a fucking game bundled in the
yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
But see,
right now, bro. Look, right now you have no fucking games to play on that console. Not really.
Yep.
Like, how many hours can you play Mario Kart before you get bored out of your mind? Like, come on, bro. I played all the other Switch games on my Switch already, so I really don't need to revisit them. So, the price point this console is at right now is just, it's not justified to me. Maybe in 2 years' time, when there's actual games coming out for it that aren't fucking cross-gen or Mario Kart, fuck that dog shit game. Maybe I think about it, but like I said, the best thing you can do is wait till they bring the next one out. The next one is gonna have the better screen, probably, better battery life, and it's gonna have games to play on it.
Yep. Well,
right now, only, bro. Right now, only if you just can't resist that juicy sausage of Mario. That's the only that's the only people that should get it immediately. Like if you love the fat Italian so much, okay, get it, but everybody else should just wait.
Yeah. Yep. Sean, I think you heard your argument. I'm about to show you how. Trucknet that says, dude, stop. The Xbox is more powerful console. Look, let me say something to you. Trucknet. I need you to get off the field juice, bro. I need you. I think what you do
Wait, where did that come from right
Bro,
now?
I don't. That's
We're
what I'm
not
saying,
even talking
man.
about Xbox.
Somebody heard me say something about Xbox. Somebody sitting the back sitting on the truck net. He came up out of his sleep. He left his job. He at work right now. Oh, just stop it. Truck net. Stop, bro. Number one, on paper, is the Xbox Series X more powerful? Yeah. Just like the Xbox One X was more powerful than the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Slim, the PlayStation 4 Slim. It doesn't matter because the games were being better optimized for the better selling console. And you had God of War because of rapid pack math. Mark Cerny, you had God of War 2018 look better than anything at the time on the $500 console. That was a $199 console retail MSRP at the time. These game developers are optimizing their games better on PlayStation 5 for whatever reason. And the majority of games that people are buying and playing now, not the old shit, not the old stuff, not the games that people played 17 years ago. We're not talking about them. Or do those perform better, on the Series X? Absolutely. Who cares? But the problem is that the games that that are coming out here and there, PlayStation 5 is edging them out. And you can get a PlayStation 5 for cheaper than you can get a Series X. So I don't know what to tell you guys. It's over. Come home, John Rambo. Leave that one alone. He says, bro, you talked ish. I had to step in. Yeah, he got that bat signal. He's like, I know I'm in the middle of open heart surgery right now, but you're gonna have to wait there, bud. I'll be right back. Don't get any infections until I get back. This dude was doing heart surgery. Came here to tell me you're wrong. Sean, here's how you you messed up, brother. He says the PC handhelds dock too. Do I want to pay $80-$90 for a game? Hell no. I will for certain games, yes. Okay, so here's the problem. The docks for these games, or for which PC handheld has a dock that has an AI chip in it or whatever? Like, are the docks for those other handhelds just glorified HDMI cords? Or are they doing supposedly what the Nintendo Switch 2 is doing? And are they charging you, I'm assuming these docks are probably like $40. Are they charging you $120 for their docks? No. Nintendo's charging you what they're charging you for the dock because the dock is supposed to be more special than what the docks are over there. Their docks are glorified. The docks for those handhelds are glorified HDMI cords. The Nintendo Switch dock is supposed to be so much more, right? So comparing them two doesn't make a difference about the dock stuff. That's where, when it comes to what they're docking, the docking specs or whatever, that's where the Switch 2 jumps out of the handheld market and then tries to dip its foot in the console market too, right? And that's their justification when you listen to these execs. In so many words, that's their justification for these $80, $90 games. Now, here's where you absolutely kill your argument, my friend. Where you say, what game launched for the PlayStation 5 Pro? And that's our point exactly. Nothing launched specifically for the PlayStation 5 Pro. I can pay for a game.
Wait. No, they come with that shit? Bro, I was the first one that said, what the fuck? Why is it not launching with something?
Well, he's trying to use that to justify, why they're paying what they're paying for the Switch. My friend, you just made my argument. The Switch 2 is nothing but a mid-gen refresh of the Nintendo Switch 1. That's all it is. And with the mid-gen refresh, why in the Sam hell? Because it can play the same games, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, the Switch 2 games are essentially right now Switch 1 games that just have an additional downloadable pack, like a mid-gen refresh or like an enhanced, you know what I mean? It's not even its own particular code. It's the Switch 1 game. That proves you're just paying for a mid-gen refresh. And a mid-gen refresh, you were never charged an additional game or price for a mid-gen refresh. Mid-gen refresh, same price, same code, same game, except if you want to play the mid-gen refresh version, you download additional assets and things that can only be played through the mid-gen refresh unit. You guys are paying something extra for a mid-gen refresh. All this is a Nintendo Switch Pro. The real Nintendo Switch 2, I don't even know if it'll ever come out, you'll consider it when the OLED comes out. Right? But that's the problem too. Now they're raising the price of games that can be played on a mid-gen refresh. That's crazy. When I buy my PlayStation 4 Pro, I pay the same price that I paid for my PlayStation 4 games. When I bought my Xbox One X, I paid the same price that I paid for the Xbox One. When I bought my PlayStation 5 Pro, I paid the same price that I paid for my PlayStation 5. And the only thing is, I had to download additional assets. So Nintendo is taking it a step further to where for a mid-gen refresh, they're telling you for these additional assets, we're going to make you pay more. What are they providing in these games that are more technically enhanced than the counterparts that justify them making you charge an extra price just for extra assets? You're not even buying. You're not buying when you pop in. What's it called? The Zelda. You're not buying a Switch 2 version. You're buying a Switch 1 version. You're getting a Switch 1 version with Switch 2 assets on it. It's like the Xbox the Xbox One X. It's like the PlayStation 5 Pro. That's it. You guys are getting robbed and you can't even see it. You guys are getting robbed and you can't even see it.
Bro.
Okay, Sean, fine. Maybe every single...
I could tell you...
Go ahead.
Wait, I could tell you even one more thing.
What's that?
Nintendo didn't even develop the fucking emulation for it. It was some fucking dude that made it. They said, no, you can't do it, but give us the fucking code.
Wow.
Yep. It's literally just emulation of the Switch 1 being uppressed and having better FPS. So they really didn't do much of the work. They just said, we're gonna collect some millions from you, motherfucker, that made that emulator, and we make everybody else pay 10 fucking bucks for this upgrade.
Trucknet, tell that to the people that bought Monster Hunter Wilds at launch, and tell it to the people with Assassin's Creed. And I can go on down the line. You're right. I have a 4070 Super. My PlayStation 5 Pro, when I look at the game that is enhanced on my PlayStation 5 Pro, and I look at the game that's coming out of my 4070 Super, I mean, on paper, if I got a monocle and I'm looking at pixels, nobody plays games like that. I feel like I'm playing on my 4070 Super through my Pro. through a lot of these games. I'm not going to sit there and say every single game. Yeah, tell that to the people who got powerful rigs day one with Monster Hunter Wilds. Tell that to the people that are playing Assassin's Creed. I would say tell that to the people that are playing Stellar Blade, but I don't think Stellar Blade came out for PC yet. Stellar Blade's only on PlayStation 5 at the moment. And so on and so on. Tell that to the people that tried to play Last of Us 2 on PC that are playing it better on the Pro. So yeah, I don't know what the laughing emojis are for. Again, you're just making up stuff. Anyway, Sean, I'll give it to you. Maybe there are Switch 2 games coming, but what I'm saying is when you buy the Zelda games or some of these Switch 2 enhanced games, it's operating like a mid-gen refresh, and you're paying for these extra assets where that's never happened before. And there's nothing happening with these assets. As Cold Blood illustrated how they're working, there's nothing happening with these assets that is giving you something more technically enhanced than you can get for free elsewhere. The Xbox One X version of a game, you don't have to pay for the additional assets. PlayStation 4 Pro version, you don't. PlayStation 5 Pro version, you don't. You just download the extra assets. You paid for the unit. Trucknet, stop it. You don't have a Pro. You must not have a Pro. You clearly don't have a Pro. Here's what you need to do. Here's what I want you to do. We'll put it into this. We'll put it into this super fast. We'll do this immediately. Oh, hold on. I don't want it. I don't want my YouTube data. What the hell's going on here? We'll put it into this immediately. All this tomfoolery. Oh, we got another follow. Shout out for the follow. So my channel, PS5 Pro. Show all. Why is it videos? Huh? That's weird. Go back. Let's go back. This is goofy ass YouTube as usual. Go to my channel, to your channel. There we go, right here. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to do what 3.6 thousand other people did. They watched this video and then they were amazed. You tell me, and then I want you to go on YouTube, and then I want you to look at the PlayStation 5 base version of those same games and tell me if they look the same. Stop it. Stop it. Just because the Series S is an underpowered machine, that's why you see a difference. The Series S is underpowered. Actually, the Series S is just a mid-gen refresh, you know what I'm saying? Of the X, you know, it can play 120 frames games from last gen. That's all it is good for in a Game Pass box. Because you have an underpowered Series S versus an X, that does not apply to the differences that you get when you combine the best of the quality modes of these base consoles and the best of the performance modes, and you merge them together. Look at that. Look at the links attached to it where you get to see more of the games. Tell me if that looks like, and look at it in 4K and tell me if that looks like the base models. And if you come back here and you say it do, I'm going to take all this super chat money and we're going to get your eyes checked. I guarantee. He said we had the same convo September 10th, 2024. But what about the Pro? Yeah, again, when people come and say things that are not true, because they want to believe rhetoric from their favorite podcaster, that's just telling me that you just have a penchant to be lied to, opposed to knowing what you're talking about. Our current discussion about the Switch is a prime example. Cold Blood will tell you, we went back and forth in the DMs because I was like, bro, chill out, man. Nintendo Switch ain't. I was sounding like Sean out here. Now, except for the $90 games part, I ain't with that shit. Sorry, Sean. You know what I'm saying? Sean, I don't know what you doing. I don't know if you working with the Colombians or something like that, and you selling bricks. I don't know what you doing, brother. I can't pay no $90 for no goddamn game, brother. I'll be eating pork and beans. I can't do that. So I wasn't with the $90 games, but I was telling Cold Blood, like, bro, chill out. You're going over the top, this, that, and the other. And as more things came out, I didn't just put my fingers in my ear and go, nah, I don't want to hear it. I'm buying a Switch. I didn't do that. I listened to everything and I said, oh, now that I am knowledgeable about this, and now that I have experience about this and I'm looking at the facts, now I can tell that as bad as I wanted to get a Switch 2 at launch is not fitting my use case. Now I'm disappointed, but I just got to be disappointed. That's all. I didn't sit there and say, I'm going to lie to myself because I'm holding a green flag or a blue flag or a red flag. I didn't do that. Shout out to Geek the Sneak with the $2. He said, what's up, peeps? I didn't do that. So if you guys want to be lied to about how things actually are, that's on y'all.
Man, Geek is the only one that speaks sense.
Geek, you're the only sensible Nintendo out there, bro. That's why I used Geek before in my video on a prior stream. I feel like when I talked to Geek, and Geek was like, why don't you cover Nintendo content? And I was like, because I can't do the 30 frames per second. But the games that Geek was like, yo, but you should try this and try that. I'm like, no, I can't do. The games that he was bringing to my attention, I was like, yeah, that would be a dope experience if I can get it at 60. So I think Geek gets it. Geek appreciates the Switch, and he has more tolerance than I do for games under 60. But I think he gets it. And he still has respect for Nintendo, but he's like, yo, I'm not with the $80. And I feel like Geek understands it's more about than just paying $80 for a Nintendo Switch game. It's about what $80 games being presented by the Switch does to the industry. Because then the industry is now looking at, okay, you're saying that because your games now can do this, that now justifies $80 when our games were doing that a long ass fucking time ago. And now the only thing that you could have possibly made a little bit of noise on was the VRR portion. Now that's being taken away from the docked mode. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, Geek says exactly. Yeah. Hey, Geek, we might have to get you in the room with Sean. Lock y'all in that motherfucker. and he can't get out until he says, I have repented for my sins. Yeah, we might have to do an exorcism. I'll hold him down. You know what I'm saying? You give him the gospel, Geek. I don't know, man. It's bigger. It's bigger than if Nintendo was just operating in a vacuum, I wouldn't care. If they didn't have, I would just say, damn, they got balls as big as Ecuador. Golly. Okay. And I would go about my business. But this is going to have collateral damage across the industry. This is why this is a problem. And if all people was going to do this, not Nintendo. Again, I'm not saying that the games aren't good. I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying that the games won't be fun and won't be cool and something. I'm not saying that. But what are you presenting to justify the market, the $90 market, when you are talking in contrast to both handhelds These are not my words. These are the words from the Nintendo execs when you're talking about the handheld market and you're talking about the console market. Well, we could do VRR and this, and we got ray tracing and all this. And you're saying that in contrast to the offerings on the console. And you're using that to justify $90 when they're doing it better with better technology and proposing cheaper prices. He said, do I want it to increase? He said, hell no. But everything for my savior, Nintendo, for my savior, Mario and Wario and Luigi. Oh man, y'all bugs is crazy, man. What did these games present to go up to $50, $60, $70? I will say this, that okay, so when you look at games that were $50, the games were $50 when you went from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox OG to the Xbox 360. If you're trying to tell me that the graphical and technical leaps from that generation to the next weren't there, you're lying to yourselves. They were definitely there. When games went up to $60, oh, no. I'm sorry. They went from 50 to 60. They were 50 during that generation because they went from 40 to 50, the PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. If you're trying to tell me that PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games look the same, I don't know. We gotta get your eyes checked. If you're saying that PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games look the same, if you're trying to tell me that Killzone 1 and Killzone 2 looks the same, we got to get your eyes checked. Now, where you can make the argument is where games went from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. Guess what? When they went from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, there was no price hike. Because I'll argue with you, even though ray tracing became a thing, you started having diminishing returns where the graphical upgrades weren't that great. So they did have a price hike. But when you look at the PlayStation 3 generation versus now, okay, there was a significant enough price hike with the implementation of ray tracing, and now we're getting 60 frames in these games. Okay, so they went up $10. Now, the cost of making games went up too, and that's why these game makers are trying to pressure these price increases, but that's on them. They should have kept incrementally going up, or they need to find more ways to make games cheaper in a cheaper fashion. Instead of relying on Unreal Engine, they should have had a bunch of engineers sitting in a room. That's on the game industry. That's not my job to find out how they make games cheaper. That's not my job. That's their job. That's what we pay them for. That's why they get 6 figures. That's why they're making all this money. They should have had engineers sitting on the side instead of waiting on Tim Sweeney to figure it out for them to find a way to make games cheaper. So you don't need thousands of people to develop a game. That should have been their goal, and they didn't do it. That's on them. Why? Because they wanted to be as cheap as possible. They didn't want to set engineers to the side and do that. That's on them. No other industry sits there and sees the cost to do something rising, and they don't have an exploratory committee or somebody out there to figure out how to make games cheaper. Nobody does that except for the video game industry. Think about it. No other industry does that. No other industry says our prices are going up, and we're not going to figure out a way to make it cheaper. Nobody does that. The game industry just kept coming up with excuses to raise prices. That's their fault. So if they didn't raise prices last generation, that's on them. And when you think about it, now, if you look at it in 5,000 feet, the technology from the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 was minimal. to where you could say, I mean, there was an increase, but they didn't raise prices then. But PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 1 to PlayStation, I mean, I don't know, Cold Blood, what do you think? From PlayStation, do you think I'm right or I'm wrong that from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 there was a difference? From PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 there was a difference. From PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 there wasn't much difference, but from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 5 there's a justifiable difference. Or am I looking at this wrong?
It depends on what you mean by difference. Do you mean performance-wise? Performance-wise, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, we are done with 30 FPS on PS5. Like, that shit should not happen at all on PS5 unless the developer is fucking garbage. Graphics-wise, it depends. If you talk third-party games, yes, absolutely. Like, they really leveled up. But first-party games, to be honest with you, they look fucking great already on the PS4. So, yeah, sure, there was some upgrade, but it wasn't as big as the one with the PS1 to PS2. Like that was a big jump.
Yeah. Like, I get it. People are arguing over the jump to 60 to 70. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. The way I'm looking at it now is the price was raised during the PlayStation 3 era. So when I look at them raising the price now to 70, I said, well, yes. Do games look better, significantly better than the PlayStation 3 era when the last time they raised the price? Yeah. So, okay. I'm okay with that. And, you know, and they didn't raise the price last generation. And when I think about it, I'm like, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have raised the price last generation. That's my opinion. They should have found ways to make games cheaper, and they didn't do it. It's on them. It's not on me. I'm the consumer. I'm expecting to get the biggest bang for my buck. And so, like Geek the Sneak is pointing out in the chat, people are justifying $80 to $90 games. But they're not doing it as a consumer. And I wanted a Switch 2. Cold Blood will tell you. I wanted a Switch 2. I wanted it bad. But I had to be honest with myself. Yeah, I mean, so. Shout out to Doriega. He says, I buy day one. If something I want, I bought that over $100 version of Forza. No, and I'm not talking about that. Like, the industry was already settled, Doriega. Well, let me finish reading your comment. I brought $100 of the Xbox just for the people they buy over $100. That's fine. But there's a choice to do that. If you sit there and say, you know what, I like this game so much, I'm gonna buy the $100 version, fine. As long as I have my choice to just buy the $70 version, your right and your choice to buy the $100 version, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad that people will pay extra for games. I just don't want it forced upon me, because I can't see why it's going up. And if anything is like, we were all on pins and needles, or with our hands under our, sitting on our hands, waiting to see what GTA was going to do, and if what GTA was going to do was going to be epidemic through the industry, because it's GTA. So maybe we would get off with GTA getting away with that, and somehow we as consumers saying, no, y'all can't do that. But now that Nintendo's doing it, and Nintendo didn't just go, and this is the crazy part about it, y'all. We were arguing for the most part. I mean, I know there were some people out there capping and glazing GTA and was like, yeah, they could charge 100, 200 for it, whatever. And then Michael Pachter talking that dumb shit. That's different. Most of the conversation was around it going to $80. That was the average conversation. Nintendo steps out. They don't just raise it to 80. They raise it to 90. Y'all don't think that's crazy? I think that's crazy. They didn't just raise it $10. They raised it $20. I mean, it's bad enough for Nintendo to raise the price, but they didn't just raise it 10. They raised it 20. And this is the crazy thing. If they're going to raise it for Mario Kart, you know they're going to raise it again for Link. I can't be the only one that sees this. And one last thing I'll say, and then we'll get out of here. I'll let Cold Blood have the final words. We're going to get out of here. I hope people aren't upset with us about this. I hope, because we do this all the time in the Discord. So Sean, Doriega, Cold Blood, Geek to Sneak, myself when I pop in. Shout out to Dr. Spaceman, Juice. Juice is an instigator too. Juice. Everybody, when we're in the Discord, fuck around, talking our shit, we get it. We're just pulling chains, right? But I hope some of you on the other end of the mic are not upset about this, that we're having this conversation. Because I know a lot of you tend to, send me Dear John letters. Dear MM, I can't take this. I'm out of here. And shout out to Trucknet too. Trucknet is a good sport. Shout out to my homie, the Game Boy. I know y'all are taking this in good sport, but I feel like some of y'all are upset. And I want to say this to y'all, not to those that disagree, because you don't have to agree with us, but I want to say this to those of y'all that are upset, and then I'm going to turn it over to my brother so we can get out of here. Think about this. Let me go back here. Let me pull this up. Today, Nintendo announced that the pre-orders in US for the console, even though the peripheries are going up 15 or whatever, $5, whatever, that the unit itself is going to be it's going to remain the same. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a dick shaft here when I say this. That was because of people like me, people like Cold Blood, and people like Geek to Sneak, that fucking price didn't go up on y'all. That's why it happened. And I bet y'all ain't running to Nintendo to say, no. Because of the tariffs, if it would have went up to $549, I bet y'all motherfuckers ain't running to Nintendo to pay the difference. And I say that to say this. All of y'all that are upset about our opinion and get all worked up emotionally about it, think about this. When the industry did want to charge you $70 last year or last generation, where you would be paying $80, $90, maybe even $100 this gen, it was us that stepped in the gap and stopped them from doing it. When other things were happening that was going to significantly raise prices and fuck you over as a gamer, we are the people that step in the gap and stop it from happening. While you all that are getting all emotional about this are on the sidelines and reaping the benefits of us speaking up. So again, I'm not talking to people like Juice or Sean or Geek or anybody that just has a difference of opinion and we're just, pulling each other's chain. I'm talking about y'all that get so emotional about this. I don't know if I can follow you ever again in life, and get all worked up about it. I hate you. Hate me all you want. But respect us for keeping money in your pocket, because it ain't you doing it, it's us. That's what I got to say about that. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my brother. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Cold Blood, any final thoughts on this or anything else in today's show?
Wait, that's all? That's all you had for today?
We had PlayStation, but you didn't want to talk about that. Well, no, you got to get the bid.
I mean, you can at least mention it.
Okay. Well, let's do this. PlayStation, we'll only do it for 10 minutes. PlayStation raises prices for the not only the console, but the let me see, do I have that? I don't. I do have it, but hold on, give me 1 second. PlayStation raised the prices for the console in select areas, and they raise PS Plus in like Canada. So our D-Batch, he's going crazy. Oh my God, man. What's going on, man? I made a video on it, but what do y'all think about these? I said that this is part of the and Pete, I said this is part of the business. It's, to me, it's part of the message of, and Cold Blood feels differently about it. I get it. It's part of the message of, look, I'm not telling anybody not to like your favorite politician. Just tell them don't fuck with gaming. So there's not even an excuse to do this. Is a lot of this being done because it gives businesses excuses? Absolutely. I'm not denying that at all. Because can they not do this and find other ways? Absolutely. Well, let's not even give them the excuse. So let's talk to our politicians and ensure that they don't even give them the excuse. That's how my outlook on it. Cold Blood, what do you think about these price hikes and how PlayStation is handling this whole situation?
I mean, aren't they just adjusting those prices over there now? Wasn't it for a long time that Australia and all them motherfuckers paid less?
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I think, yeah, that like they didn't adjust it for them. So yeah, like I said, as long as they don't touch my fucking country, I don't give a shit. As soon as you do, we got a fucking problem, because your premium is already at fucking 152 euros. Not really worth it. Like, I got that motherfucker only for the portal at this point. That tier is gonna be gone if they make that shit over 200 euros. Because at that point I can justify it. I mean, I can even justify it right now, really, but goddamn, I want to play on my portal.
Yeah.
The streamable games, you know.
I wish I would have done. I was listening to Porter Rock. And he was talking about how he loaded up a long time ago, but I wasn't really into PlayStation back then. I wish I was, because if I was, if I was, I would have got, I would have loaded up on PlayStation Plus like how he did. He said he's paid out to 2030. And I remember there was a while when PlayStation Plus, but he has the base. He doesn't have the subscription version. I wonder if you could have like upgraded without having to pay, or upgraded and they would have just condensed months. Like, let's say if he had 30 months of the PlayStation normal, and if they would have just said, oh, you're upgrading to Essential or whatever premium, we're going to give you.
Bro, they make you pay for it.
Oh, they make you pay for the upgrade. Okay.
Of course. I mean, not. I think at a reduced rate, but they do make you pay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think they also subtract some amount of months from it.
Now, Juice, you said you're paid up to 2029. Juice, are you paid up to 2029? And do you just have the base version, or do you have any of the other higher tiers? I'm curious. Oh, I'm sorry, Doriega. God damn, that's Doriega. Like, motherfucker, this is Doriega. Oh, you got premium. Oh, okay. So how did you do that? You can stack now. Oh, okay. So did you stack like the $9.99 tier and then upgrade your stack and you had to pay a price, or did you upgrade your stack and they just condensed the months? How did that work? Or did you just buy a whole bunch of premium? Because I think premium was on sale. Like, you could have bought like premium at like $50 or some shit. How did you do that, Doriega? I got full stacks of essential. Oh, you got full stacks of essential, and essential is like that's the middle tier. So how did you get it to premium? Oh, so when you hit premium, did you have to pay money or did they just condense the months? Oh, you had to pay $60. Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. Oh, hey, can't beat that. I mean, that's, well, you can beat it, but it's not horrible. Okay, all right, interesting.
Bro, and to be honest with you, I only got premium still because Sony sometimes have those, what do you call it, those 30% off shit, right?
Oh, okay.
Like it's not gonna cost me then 152 euros a year, but more like the extra tier 120 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do I do? Of course, go immediately to a fucking key site, get me a cheaper code, and get the motherfucker for 100. So hey, 50. I just pay 50 euros. That's how I do it. For now, but if they raise the motherfucker over 200, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, if they never went up in those other locations, then yeah, I feel sorry for you guys, but you got to come to the realization again. I'm not trying to just blow this off, but you got to come to
wait. Why should we feel sorry for them? Like, we all pay those higher prices now,
and we're in the larger regions.
All they did is adjust the prices. That is not my bro. That is not my concern. My concern is if they do it again in Germany, in USA, and everywhere else, where they already did it. Then I'm gonna be like, nah, fuck you. That is ridiculous at this point, because you really did not add anything of value to increase the price.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Any other thoughts on the price increases, Cold Blood?
I mean, sure. Yeah. I love your Switch dock being now $10 more.
That's a $10. I thought it was 20. Oh, it's only 10. I thought it was 20. Yeah.
As long as the motherfuckers didn't launch yet, they can set the price wherever they want.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
just
waiting for the
after launch, don't fucking raise it again. Like that is when it's gonna look really bad.
I'm a little disappointed because I really did want to enjoy, and I was going to buy it as I was going to approach the Switch as a mid-gen refresh, or the Switch 2 as a mid-gen refresh of the Switch 1. Well, I get where someone like Cold Blood wasn't looking for it as that. He's looking for it as a new upgraded next-gen unit, and it clearly isn't that.
Brother, I told you, if you want me to see it as a mid-gen refresh, call it Switch Plus or something.
Yeah.
Don't call it 2, because 2 is a fucking sequel.
And that's the problem with how Switch is rolling this out. They're talking about it like it's a new, they're trying to justify the prices like it's a next gen model, but when people look at the discrepancies, then they use excuses like it's a mid-gen refresh. Well, if that isn't great enough for you, we have a Switch 1. No, like this is the next Switch. So of course people want to go from the Switch 1 and play on the Switch 2. Why would someone just keep a Switch 1 when they want to play on the Switch 2, unless the Switch 2 really is just a glorified Switch 1? The messaging is all over the place. And my final question to you, Cold Blood, is, do you think that despite all of these miscues, Do you think that this thing is still gonna? It doesn't matter. This thing is still gonna sell. And I'm talking about over its lifetime. Do you think it still will sell like crazy? You think it'll sell more than the Switch, or do you think it's gonna, or it could potentially bomb?
I mean, is it gonna sell as much as the Switch at that price point? No, absolutely not. Is it gonna sell a fuck ton? Yes. Like that, it's already pre-programmed. Like, look at the fucking pre-orders. Literally everywhere sold out, besides a few retailers.
Well, you know how Nintendo does. They limit their supply to create FOMO, but I don't doubt it.
No, I mean the Mario Kart bundle is sold out everywhere where I could buy one. But the normal Switch is still available.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fuck yeah. And that just tells you right there, people. And maybe they did that on purpose. Maybe they want you to have Mario Kart. They want to make sure that you got a game with it. I had heard this somewhere. And maybe they made it not. But no, they're just, yeah.
Brother, of course they want you to have the digital only on one account
that is true.
version.
Yeah. That's why
they don't want you to have the physical.
Yeah. Yep. That's why you're getting the bundle for 50, because that's a hell of a bundle to get. Well, no, because a lot of games bundle the games and a lot of games in for free, but the bundle a game in at launch for 2/3 of the price. First time I ever seen that. That I can remember, but whatever. He said Nintendo stands is gonna buy that shit. Yeah,
brother. Normally a bundle game is fucking free with the console, but hey, that's a new norm now, I guess, where they also charge you some of it for it in the fucking console.
Yeah, they called Sean. They said, Sean, should we bundle this in for free? He said, hell no, I'm willing to pay $200. Tattoo your name tattoo Mario on my chest.
So they probably called the police
All right, so we had a member goal up there. Shout out to Sean and Juice. I mean, not a member goal. We had a super chat goal.
And Geek.
Yep. And we had 300s. I'm still up in the arms what we're gonna do. Again, like I said, we're trying to do something particular here. We're trying to build a community, and it's bad enough that YouTube hamstrings us on this. And I think YouTube must be looking at what I'm saying and then complaining, because now some of the videos that they weren't putting in front of anybody, I didn't change anything. Now they're putting them in front of people. I'm looking at this stream where last week we had around the same number of viewers, and we were stuck at a horrible view count. Now this one is significantly better. So YouTube is probably but I ain't got time for the inconsistencies here. That's where we need you guys' help, just to do stuff as simple as hit the like button and, do things that don't even cost you $1 that we're hoping that you do more of. So I got to think about it. I don't know where we're going to do these streams. We'll see. But we wanted to do them on the PlayStation 5 Pro. We'll talk about that. All right. With that said, getting out of here. Appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.